Hey, what's up? It's Seth Perler, and I'm here with segment 2 out of 3 on challenged by organization. If you are a student who's challenged by organization, or you're a parent with a kid who's challenged by organization, these videos are for you. You might want to check out video 1 before you check out this one. If you haven't seen it already, this one I'm going to talk about homes. You have to have homes for things. So at this point, if you've watched video 1, you've cleared away hopefully everything that you don't need. Old clothes that no longer fit or you no longer wear, old books you no longer read, old toys you no longer play with, old papers you no longer need, everything. If you can minimize stuff and get stuff pared down to the basics of what you actually need. We live in a very materialistic world. If you can really get it down to what you need and want to have and what you actually use, you're going to be in a really good place and you're going to be really decluttered. And now what you have to do is the stuff that you have to have homes for it. If you want to be organized and you want to overcome disorganization and really create a life where you can manage anything and everything, any project you want to do, any career you want to have, any business you want to start, anything you want to do in your future, you have to have a way to organize that works, okay? So first you've gotten rid of stuff, now you have to have homes for stuff. What does that mean? What that means is you have to have a place to put things that is a dedicated place that you generally use to put things. The problem is that people get over-organized. People who are disorganized by nature try to get over-organized and have little teeny tiny places for every single thing. Don't do that. Keep it simple. Let me explain what I mean. Okay, first of all, labels. You need to label things. This is labeled tape and staplers. So everything in this box, there's staples, there's tape. Everything in the box has to do with tape or staplers, okay? So it's very simple, very easy to use, and it's labeled. It's a home, and there's no confusion. Anything, in fact, that sticks things to other things I would put in here. Next, I have a box for math, okay? This says math, it's labeled, it's very simple. Protractors and compasses, calculators, anything that has to do with math would be in the math box. It does not have to be complicated, okay? You can keep it very simple. This says paper clips, but there are also binder clips in here. Anything similar to a paper clip. Even twist ties are in there. So just things that are paper clip-ish I would put in here. So those are a few examples of homes. Now, the labels have to be clear, otherwise people put things in the wrong places, okay? And once you start doing that, your organizational challenges are going to creep up again because you're going to be getting things into the wrong places. Here's something at the office, recycle here. My students do not get confused about where recycling goes and where trash goes because it's very clearly labeled to recycle there. Want to talk about homes for your papers. This is the science folder. It's a home for science only. The rule is that if you are messy with papers and you don't put papers in the right place, at the very least, don't put your paper in the wrong folder. So don't put social studies into the science folder, don't put math into the science folder. If you're not feeling like putting it in there at the moment, at least leave it loose in the backpack and get it later, or just jam it in your planner and organize it later, or something like that. Or put it in a queue, which I'll talk about in a minute. So your folders are very specific to the subjects. There's the LA folder, there's the social studies folder, very clearly labeled, very simple, they're labeled front and back. And this one, the Q, okay, Q-U-E-U-E, this is a catch-all, and this is a folder for anything and everything important. You can jam random papers in here if you want, but this is a home for anything alive. Anything that needs to be done or anything that needs to be turned in, study guide that's active that you're going to have a test on, a rubric that relates to a project that you're currently working on. Anything living goes in the queue. That's a great home. People who are not naturally organized don't systematize very well naturally. Their brains don't systematize certain things, particularly things they're not interested in. So for example, your homework papers you may not systematize very well. That's why it's so important to have these homes. Another home is the sacred study space. You want a home for where you do your homework and you're studying. A sacred place, a sacred study space, a sacred place where nothing else goes. You don't put any distractions on there. You don't throw your laundry on there. You don't put it, it's a sacred place. It's a sacred home for you to be able to focus and do your homework, okay? Especially if you're someone who's not very motivated to do it, you need a sacred place. That's a good home to have. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say about home. So again, if you're challenged by organization, first thing you want to do is get rid of the stuff you don't need. Second thing you want to do is create homes for the things that you do, in fact, want to keep, okay? And then we'll get on to video number 3 next, which is going to talk about the importance of doing regular overhauls. I'll see you in a minute.